Chapter 12 of Where No Party's Gone Before. Celestia took a few slow, tentative steps towards twilight sunset. It's good to see you again, she finally said, stopping a couple of feet away from the two. She canted her head from side to side. You've grown wings. Sunset's gaze sat down once more to the floor. Yeah, Twilight's home to you about the sirens, right? Battle of the Bands? She looked at her sides, wings extending. I didn't know about it until crossing the mirror back to Equestria. Still kind of waiting to wake up in this great dream, to be honest. Celestia's eyes shone up a bit. I know the feeling. You've come a long way and done so much since then. A tiny smile graced Sunset's lips. I had a lot of help along the way, Princess. She glanced at Twilight, still by her side. They didn't have to, but they did. Part of me still isn't sure why. It was horrible. Twilight draped a ring over Sunset. Don't dwell on the past, Sunset. Learn from it. But don't let it overshadow everything you've accomplished. It's a lot. Celestia nodded. Twilight's right, Sunset. I know. Princess, wait, Sunset said, taking a few steps forward away from Twilight. She craned her neck and, with some effort, locked eyes with her mentor. There's something I have to say to you. It's very important. May I? Celestia's jaw slowly closed. She bowed her head, took a step back, waving a wing at Sunset. Sunset sucked in a deep breath. I am so sorry, she finally said, voice breaking at the end. Sunset's eyes watered, tears started sliding down her cheeks. She kept her head high. You gave me love and education, knowledge, patience, understanding, and I built it all up and threw it back in your face. It was horrible to you, my family, to pretty much everyone involved at school. To say I was horrible brat is the understatement of the year. And then she finally broke eye contact with Celestia. Her eyes closed and her crying increased. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, she repeated. Her shoulders heaved up and down. Celestia closed her own eyes and shook her head. She stepped right up to Sunset's side, turned herself around, lowered herself to her haunches, extended a wing, and draped it over Sunset, pulling her close. She waited until Twilight was also by Sunset's side before speaking. No, Sunset, no. Don't do that to yourself. There's a big difference between sincere regret and self-loathing. It's a line I'm quite familiar with. Sunset sniffled, wiped her now bloodshot eyes. But what I did, Celestia shook her head. What you did was ill-informed, Sunset. Not the best actions, but you weren't alone in culpability. As your teacher, I should have done more to help and guide you. Sunset slowly turned in Celestia's direction. Princess, you did everything you could have to help me. It's not your fault I rejected your teachings, nor did you have anything to do with what I did at Caroline High. That was all me. Celestia tilted her head from side to side. I still bear some responsibility, even just as your teacher. That is the truth, Sunset. Sunset's head drooped, but she remained silent. Celestia continued. It speaks well of you to remember past faults and mistakes, so long as you learn from them, but use them to better yourself. So it seems you did, she said, winking. Her expression once more turned serious. However, if you dwell on them too much, they can consume you. Twilight cleared her throat, getting Sunset's attention. I have some experience with that happening to someone here, Sunset. It wasn't pretty, to say the least. Celestia is right. You have done some wonderful things and made great friends and saved your adopted world. She leaned close to Sunset. Don't you ever forget that. Sunset bit her lip, but the corners of her mouth still turned up. She turned to Celestia. I I will try to focus on the good a bit more, especially around you. Thank you. Sunset drew Celestia closer, leaned down and nuzzled her. We've all made mistakes or missteps, Sunset. It's how we deal with them that's the most important thing. How will you deal with yours? Sunset glanced down. I guess try to keep them in mind, learn from them like you said. Celestia nodded. An excellent lesson, Sunset. She stood up, Twilight and eventually Sunset following suit. She reached out with a foreleg and pulled in Sunset for a quick hug. I really am proud of you. Defeating the sirens, Twilight told me all about it. See what Sunset over. She forgot to mention you as sensing, she said, winking. Sunset barked a laugh, stretched her wings out. A surprise to the both of us, Princess. Sunset leaned to Celestia, quite visible now. Thank you. It's really close for a bit. If it wasn't for Final Scratch showing up as he did. She closed her eyes and sighed. Celestia's horn glowed. Table, 2 chairs, and a complete key set possibly exists near the keying map. Well, I'd love to hear about it straight from you. You don't mind, that is. Sunset trotted over to the table. Her horn glowed and one chair slid out. She suddenly stopped. Wait. She slammed her hoof onto the floor, sitting on a small trampoline. I can't. At least not right now. She held her hoof up and most of the door. I told Trixie I called her tonight. Arranged for her to bring several discs with very valuable information here for Captain Kirk and Kane. She hung her head. So as I love to you, Princess, I can't put this off. Lives are at stake. Celestia's brow furrowed. Sunset, I'm afraid I'm not following you. Where are these discs? And how they can contain any sort of information that could help Captain Kirk or Kane? Twilight shot to her host, trying to Celestia's side. It's really unbelievable, Celestia, but also really cool. You see, there's, she turned to Sunset away to wing her. There's something Sunset needs to explain, because I'm still not sure how. Sunset glared at Twilight for a moment. Thank you very much, Twilight. She focused on Celestia once more. All right. Over in that reality, as insane as it sounds, the missions of the Enterprise and the whole Federation is a series of fictional adventures across the mirror. She launched into a rather abbreviated explanation about the Star Trek television show franchise overall, focused on the first 2 shows. Horn lit up as various images appeared of the Enterprise, so the cast, and even very snippet of the accent. Celestia remained quiet to Sunset's explanation, only nodding occasionally. At the end of Sunset's explanation, she finally spoke. And you told all this to Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock? And Sunset nodded, seeing cracked an eyebrow. They seemed fairly calm before beaming away. Sunset shrugged. Compared to some of the horse apples they face, this is kind of small potatoes. I mean, they've already faced exposure in time realities with episodes Mirror Mirror and the Thelonian Web. Celestia rolled her eyes. I'll take your word on that, Sunset. But in all seriousness, when it comes to trying to change the timeline, care must be taken. Even the best of intentions may lead to disaster along the way. Sunset looked down on the floor. Off the top of my horn, 2 good men will lose their sons without this information, Princess. If there's a chance to prevent that, I must take that risk. Any seriousness of Celestia's expressive vanished. She slowly lowered her head and nuzzled Sunset. I am proud of how far you've come, Sunset. Sunset's body froze for a moment. She eventually returned to nuzzle. Thank you. Twilight walked up to Sunset and carried to her side. So, back now or later? Sunset waved a wing at the door. As much as I'd love to stay, have tea, meet your friends, see my family. She paused and swallowed down a rising tide of emotion. No, I could do that later. Tomorrow, after her and Trixie, lend Mr. Spock the desk. Celestia nodded. We're going to hold you to that, she said, winking. Sunset grinned and barked a laugh. She trotted to the door, horn starting to glow, but it opened before she reached it. She slowed to a halt as Spike walked in, wearing an apron, chef's hat, and a tray of cookies in his claws. Spike held the tray out. Okay, I know what I said before leaving is usually a bad excuse to get in an awkward situation, but I figured cookies couldn't hurt anything. Sunset floated a cookie over to her mouth, took it a bite, and finished it off with 2 more. Spike, you are one great dragon, and a good cook, too. She floated 2 more off the tray, scarfing them down quickly. Twilight and Celestia floated the cookies toward them, eating them. The glow around Twilight's horn brightened as she floated Spike himself over to her. She placed them on the ground in front of her, wrapped both forelegs around them in a hug. That was very thoughtful of you, Spike. Thanks. Spike returned the hug, then slipped down Twilight's grass. Well, I try. You're welcome. He looked around. So, things worked out? The 3 Alcors all exchanged a glance. I think I have things worked out just fine, Sunset said, as all 3 smiled. Thanks to Talon Thorn and Sun Tzu for proofreading and pre-editing. Sorry about the brevity, but this chapter is meant to be short, as it's one scene. The previous one I wanted to get done for a birthday present. This one was hard to do. Oh, Wonder why.